teams don't play their players in the preseason because they're always afraid of them getting hurt. So what do? They rest them. And then when week 1 comes around, they're rusty. They're not in sync with the quarterback's not in sync with a certain wide receiver or a running back or all that stuff. So then these first 3 weeks are kind of feeling yourself out to get to that position where you're all of a sudden, okay, now we jive, now we have chemistry. And in your opinion, is it worth losing a couple games in September to rest your guys in the preseason? Or do you say, come on out for week 1, you should play during the preseason?
I think that there's a case to be made back when Adrian Peterson had his injury and we wanted to hold him out of preseason because he was our offense for the most part. I think in that instance, sure, Adrian Peterson is probably the best back in the league at that point. Go ahead and hold him out of the preseason because you're scared that you don't want to lose your offense for an entire season. But I think in the instance of just some normal starters and stuff like that, you got to play in the preseason. The Lions really don't have anybody that sticks out on offense to me, other than maybe Stafford. That might, and I think still Stafford should even play, at least a couple games in the preseason. Maybe sit out week 1, play weeks 2 and 3, and then sit out week 4 again, so that he at least has some time. But Stafford's really their biggest and most important guy in their offense. Other than that, if the Lions are holding anybody out of preseason games, I don't know why, because that's what you got to do. You got to get ready. And it's not quite the same as a normal game rep, I wouldn't assume. It's probably about 95% of it, though. So you got to get in there and get some, actual pad-to-pad, banging around, get used to the feel of the game again. And that's just my opinion. I'm not an NFL coach. I'm not an NFL owner of a franchise, so I can't really say too much about it. But in my opinion, the guys should be playing in the preseason.
I agree with you. And like you said with Adrian Peterson, that first year where he tore his ACL, he sat out the preseason, he broke all those records, won the MVP, and then thought, oh, okay, we're going to keep doing that with Adrian Peterson. You know what happened the next 3 seasons? Adrian Peterson always missed games. Some players are just going to get hurt, and they're just going to miss games. So I don't even really think that for some players, I understand you want to hold them out, and I'm with you where it's like, come on, just play them in the preseason. You can't. Mike Zimmer said this a couple of years ago when players kept tearing their ACLs in like mini camp in April, and some coaches didn't even do mini camp at all. And Zimmer said, we can't be scared. You can't be scared to put your guys out there in practice. I agree with that point, but I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and I'm going to say, well, look at the Packers a few years ago. Jordy Nelson tore his ACL right at the beginning of the season. Boom, one of your biggest receivers is out. Or a person like, I don't know, who has been another big injury in the preseason. Jamal Charles. Is he on the...
I think he's on the Broncos now, but I'm talking about back when he was on the...
back when he was on the Chiefs?
Back when he was on the Chiefs, he tore his ACL preseason.
Yeah, or like, I don't know, just any kind of quarterback-like injury or quarterback, big wide receiver. You have a guy who gets hurt in a meaningless game in August, and now he's out for the year, and potentially his career is in flux. Is it worth losing one ball game just to make sure that your guys get healthy into the regular season? I don't know, and I understand the opposing argument from that. So I don't know. It's a tough situation, and I think we're going to see in the next few seasons what the data says. I'm more on the side of, look, just get the guys in the preseason. You can't be scared to run them out there. But at the same time, some coaches do see it as, if we have to lose week 1 in September, I'm okay with that as long as that means we have X star player in week 16. But then again, he could tear his ACL anytime. So I don't know. It's an interesting situation. I understand arguments from both sides. I'd more tend to lean to the side of playing the preseason and get ready for the regular season.